After a future confrontation between the two was teased last night in the men's Royal Rumble match, it's now being reported that Gunther versus Brock Lesnar is not the plan for WrestleMania. We've got the latest details on what is the plan for the Intercontinental Champion and the Beast at the Showcase of the Immortals. Cody Rhodes returned from injury and won the men's Rumble last night. However, he may have suffered another injury during the Rumble match. Logan Paul and Edge also made their WWE returns during the men's Royal Rumble. Rhea Ripley won the women's Rumble. However, she's revealed that she suffered an injury during the Rumble match, which could have serious implications. Triple H says it's not on the cards that The Rock will wrestle at this year's WrestleMania. Nia Jax makes her WWE return at the Women's Royal Rumble. Rey Mysterio missed the Rumble match last night, reportedly due to an injury. Pat McAfee is back on commentary, returning last night at the Royal Rumble. Asuka also made her return and returned to an old gimmick previously used in Japan. Piper Niven is now the name of the former Doudrop once again in WWE. Chelsea Green makes her WWE return. Bray Wyatt has commented on his creativity and the storyline with Alexa Bliss after making his in-ring return last night. And Kofi Kingston has addressed his second failed Royal Rumble botch in a row. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into, especially the night after the Royal Rumble with the fallout of one of the biggest shows of the year. Of course, we're now officially on the road to WrestleMania. We did a ton of videos all the way through the night talking about the big talking points, the major news stories coming out of the Rumble. Cody winning the Rumble match, Rhea Ripley winning the Royal Rumble match, the pitch black match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight, and of course, Sami Zayn betraying the bloodline and being kicked out and attacked by the likes of Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. But let's start off talking about Gunther and Brock Lesnar. Gunther, standout performance last night in the men's Rumble. We'll talk about that shortly. But an update has emerged on potential plans for Brock Lesnar to face Intercontinental Champion Gunther at WrestleMania 39. In December, WrestlingNews.co reported that WWE had plans for Lesnar and Gunther to clash at the April 1st or 2nd event. Dave Meltzer later shared what he knew about the situation, stating that the match was, quote, far from finalized, end quote. Now, rumors about a potential bout were fueled by Gunther and Lesnar having a brief face-off in the 2023 men's Royal Rumble match. However, on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer stated that he has been told that Lesnar versus Gunther is not the plan for WrestleMania 39. Meltzer noted that it is unclear whether WWE has penciled in plans for the bout for another event. He also noted that while WWE has been pushing the Lesnar versus Lashley rivalry hard, he's unable to confirm whether or not this bout is planned for WrestleMania. Of course, Lesnar made his return to WWE on the January 23rd edition of Raw's 30th anniversary, costing Lashley his United States Championship match against Austin Theory. The Beast also attacked Lashley on the January 27th episode of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox before declaring himself for the Royal Rumble match. But last night, it was Bobby Lashley who eliminated Brock Lesnar before Brock Lesnar went crazy at ringside, attacking referees, officials, nearly attacking the announcers, nearly smashing the announce desk. So typical Brock. Show up for a couple of minutes, bury a couple of main roster guys that are full-time, drop a load of people on their head, get eliminated, crash things, do a suspension angle, and he'll be gone for probably a month whilst he's suspended from television. Peak Brock Lesnar. Now, when it comes to Gunther, he broke an historic record during the men's Rumble match. Obviously, Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble match, but besides that, the 2023 Men's Rumble also had several historic moments, including an iconic record being broken after 17 years. Entering the match at number 1, Intercontinental Champion Gunther lasted all the way to the end, participating in the match for an hour and 11 minutes, according to WWE announcer Michael Cole. Gunther entered the match alongside his longtime foe Sheamus, lasting over 70 minutes in the match and tying Rhodes for the most eliminations with 5. Now, most notable names thrown out by the Intercontinental Champion were the likes of Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Booker T, who was the 21st entrance into the match. WWE's official social media account also touted the success of Gunther in the match, crediting him for having a legendary in-ring performance. The longest reigning United Kingdom champion now ranks at the top of the list of the longest time spent in a single men's Rumble match, surpassing Rey Mysterio by 9 minutes, who achieved the feat in 2006. Now, technically as well, there was the Daniel Bryan wrinkle in this record as well, because he did have that huge performance in the greatest Royal Rumble, but I guess they're saying in traditional men's Rumble matches at Royal Rumble events, Gunther now holds the record. Now, Gunther was asked about the match after he was eliminated in a WWE digital exclusive. Gunther spoke about the men's Royal Rumble match and why Imperium is the standard in WWE. He said, quote, "How do I feel? It was again up to me to step up and take responsibility to restore the honor of our precious sport. The whole way through, they put the biggest obstacles in my way. The whole way through, I've been there, and at the end, it was an error on my behalf. I got to blame me for that. It's nobody else. But like we always do in Imperium, when we fall, we get back up because we are driven by the greater good. Weekend to weekend, we drive all around the country to represent this sport the way it's supposed to be. We are Imperium, and to us, the match is sacred." And as I mentioned, it was an absolutely legendary performance from Gunther. As to Brock versus Gunther at WrestleMania, Meltzer can say it's not the plan, but they teased it last night. And if they teased it with no intention to really deliver on it, to me that seems odd, but we'll have to wait and see. As I mentioned, Cody Rhodes did win the men's Royal Rumble match, and he's commented on his Rumble victory and his plans moving forward now in WWE. As I mentioned, Cody Rhodes returned from his torn pectoral muscle in a big way at the Royal Rumble, entering number 30 and winning the match. It was Rhodes' first match since Hell in a Cell, where he competed inside Hell in a Cell against Seth freaking Rollins with a torn pectoral muscle. Speaking to Ryan Satin of Fox Sports after the match, Cody commented on his return and how he was feeling, saying, quote, "It was really funny. Sami Zayn was one of the first people I talked to today, and I said, I hope I remember how to do it. He said, it's like riding a bike. That's real, honestly. It's like this muscle memory. It's fun to do stuff that you haven't done in 7 months, pushing off with the Cody cutter, not sure if your foot is there. The thing I miss the most is the thing that took me the longest to get. I love this audience. Some people think it's try hard or fake emotions. This is a real story. I don't know how I stumbled onto this. I have the privilege and also the burden that I don't play a character. I'm me. Me was enough tonight. I popped my eardrum, but I don't care. Just a wonderful Royal Rumble. The Rhodes don't have any frame of reference on going to WrestleMania in terms of going on last in a big spot. I'm proud to say I can be the one to do it. That's the secret. The secret is that when you're someone's kid, is you love them and all that. No kidding, but you want to be better than them. Better than Dusty Rhodes. How could you ever be? I don't know if that's the case. If I see him again, I can say, I did this, you feel complete. When asked about what he thought his dad, Dusty Rhodes, would say to him, Cody replied, quote, "That's the thing about my dad, was that when it's a big moment, shockingly, a guy who could spit fire and a master orator, he didn't say a lot. That's the way our relationship was. He liked to watch when I got into the zone. Everyone will tell you he's watching and all this. To honor him the best way, I try not to think about it. Triple H saying he's proud of me, that means a lot because I caused a lot of trouble. I don't regret the trouble, but maybe I regret some of the ways I handled it. To be under the tutelage for that moment and to not blow it, it felt good. I was in the Rumble with Randy Orton and Triple H. I told Randy this last night. I got to sit there and watch him have his moment, and I thought, I hope that's me one day in my mind. I'm thinking it's going to be next year, the year after that. Here we are 10 years later. I'm a slow learner, but I figured it out." Of course, Cody Rhodes was part of the final 3 in 2009 with Triple H and Randy Orton. Now, asked about winning the Rumble and earning an undisputed WWE Universal Championship match at WrestleMania, Rhodes said, quote, "It doesn't just feel good, it feels surreal. I wasn't even working here a year ago. I don't even know how we got here. There are things in my career that lined up perfectly, so perfectly, I don't know how we got here. It doesn't line up perfectly. I don't believe in destiny. I don't believe in fate, but my gosh, if there was a case study for it, it's me. Maybe I just need to give in and say, it is what it is. It's a journey of destiny, who knows? No frame of reference for what that spot is. I cannot wait to feel it." Rhodes closed by saying, quote, "I'm very sorry I got hurt. That was stupid. Warm up before you lift. I'll never. It won't happen. Thank you for everything. Biggest night of my career." And when he said about, again, his working relationship with Triple H, he spoke about that. And it's quite interesting, actually. He spoke about that relationship with Triple H, saying he's fortunate enough that he doesn't need too much direction as he's a veteran. He said, quote, "I was very fortunate that when I came back, I had enough experience that I didn't always need structure and direction. You guys have seen me without a leash before. I get a little wild. It's great to have that structure, but I've had an unbelievable experience, an unbelievable education in wrestling. I'm not meant to do anything else. This is what I do. It was easy then when I came back and Vince was in charge of that. It's easy now because the way I look at it, I don't mean this as a braggadocious or arrogance. This is something I talked about with one of my kids at the school. If I'm the best, then it doesn't matter who is showing me where to go and telling me what's next. If I'm the best, my transaction is simple. The fans pay their money, I make them feel something, and I can do that better than anybody. If I can, then it can be this person or that person. I will say I don't want to get mushy with it, but Triple H has no reason to be a fan of mine if you really think about it. I smashed the throne, I took a lot of shots, I was always light-hearted, but I think he knew where I was coming from. I was hungry. He's the one guy, I don't think he remembers this, but I'll never forget, I talked to him in Gorilla when I was really frustrated doing Stardust. I went to walk out and he said, "Rattle the cages." That could have meant a lot of things. Go talk to the writers. I took it literally and went out and rattled the cages as much as possible. I'm so glad that relationship gets to develop now. Clearly, you guys see how I model my presentation and performance. I'm clearly a massive Triple H fan. I'm so glad he's the coach and I get to play. I want to play quarterback. I owe him a lot for how he handled my dad. I don't want him to look at me and see my dad. I want him to look at me and see me. Today, I felt like he saw me. That's very important. My last name has done a lot of things for me, but we're at a point in my career where my first name has to do those things as well. It's off to a great start. Let's see where we go from here. And, I think he's fair with his comments that he makes there. Now, one name that also did return during the Rumble match was Logan Paul. Yes, for the first time since Crown Jewel in November, Logan Paul entered the Royal Rumble match, and he actually had an absolutely incredible moment in the match whereby he was on one side of the ring and Ricochet was on another. They did a springboard and then a mid-air collision, bang, just smashed in the middle of the ring. It was absolutely incredible. To the point where it obviously made social media explode because that's what Logan Paul does. But even Elon Musk was tweeting about it, talking about almost a Logan Paul versus Andrew Tate moment in the Rumble. And Elon Musk tweeted, "It's only a matter of time." Whatever that means, I don't know. Edge is also back. Of course, he made his return last night in the Royal Rumble. He attacked and eliminated the likes of Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day, but eventually he was eliminated by the Judgment Day. They then continued their attack and brawl on the outside of the ring. This is where Beth Phoenix came out because Rhea Ripley had attacked Edge from behind, and Beth Phoenix speared Rhea Ripley, signaling that this feud between Edge and Phoenix and the Judgment Day is going to continue. However, Rhea Ripley won the Women's Royal Rumble match, so seemingly she's going to have her eyes focused on WrestleMania. Again, what that's going to look like, we don't know. Elimination Chamber is on the horizon. It's in Edge's home country of Canada, so logically you would think he'd be on the show. Are we going to see a mixed tag team match for that show? Possibly. We'll have to wait and see. Now, speaking of Rhea Ripley, she won the Women's Royal Rumble match. However, she did possibly suffer an injury during the Rumble match. She said that she actually dislocated her knee. She's given a health update following the Royal Rumble. As I mentioned, she made history at the 2023 Royal Rumble event. She became the first woman to win the bout after being the very first entrant, and by proxy set a new Iron Woman record after spending over an hour inside the ring. These records did not come without damage, though, to the Nightmare. Speaking on the post-show press conference following the Royal Rumble, Ripley revealed her knee was dislocated briefly during the match, but it would pop back into place and it's, quote, good now. She said, quote, "I'm obviously beat up. My knees aren't very good in general. My knee did dislocate for a second and then it went back in. I'm feeling good now, and because of all my emotions, I'm just excited. So I'm blocking out everything else. If anything, I can smell blood in my nose and that's definitely there, but my knee is good." So hopefully she's okay, although it was a bit of a concern that her knee popped out. That might be something that needs to be looked at moving forward, but she's fine and she's on her way to WrestleMania. Now, what's going on with The Rock? No one really knows. One person that would know is Triple H, the Chief Content Officer of WWE, the head of creative in WWE, and he's spoken on the possibility of The Rock wrestling at WrestleMania this year. Of course, WrestleMania is once again going Hollywood for a two-night event in April, on April 1st and April 2nd. With WrestleMania being in Hollywood and The Rock being one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, rumors have circulated for years that The Rock would be a part of the event and potentially facing Roman Reigns. The Royal Rumble, of course, came and went without the Great One making an appearance, and Triple H is doubtful we'll actually see The Rock wrestling at WrestleMania 39. He said, quote, "Apparently he can't get in shape in time. That's what you all tell me," Triple H said with a laugh during the Royal Rumble press conference. Of course, it was reported by the Wrestling Observer that Rock indicated he wouldn't be able to get in shape for the match, saying, quote, "He looked pretty jacked, I thought. I saw Black Adam the other day, and I didn't think it was the uniform. He's incredibly busy. I can say this as a guy that we grew up as two young kids fighting each other for the spot and having battles over it, and in the best way pushing each other. We were all in during that time. I know for him, I was at a large Emmy event a few years ago, and there was a poster of him. I think he was about to drop the people's elbow on me. He was standing over me in this photo, and it's hyper-focused, incredibly detailed picture, and as I'm looking at the picture, I realized he had goosebumps all over him, standing over me. I took a picture of it, and I sent it to him. I said, "You don't get this in Hollywood, do you? It's a rush." But after the 12th time you've done that take, and probably not as exciting as the first couple, there is nothing like this. Nothing. I know for him, I know his family and background, there is a part of him that if he could be here for this and for this WrestleMania in Hollywood, he would turn over every stone and walk through fire to be able to do it if he could. Triple H then stated, "I just don't think it's in the cards." Then again, I don't know. We always have conversations with him because he loves it so much, and we'd love for him to be a part of it. He's the biggest star in Hollywood and maybe the most recognizable person on the planet. Why wouldn't you want him to be a part of it? This is his home. It's an open invitation. We don't lock the door. He has an open invitation to walk through it anytime he wants, but he's incredibly busy. I think that respect factors both ways. He wouldn't want to do it unless he could absolutely do it. There is no way he would show up here and half-ass it. There is no way he would show up here and not come in and want to put every single thing he had into it and make it the best it possibly could be. Unless he could do that, it won't happen. He knows the door is open, and when he has the time and availability to do it, he can come in and electrify everybody. Basically, Triple H saying there, ain't gonna happen. It's probably not gonna happen this year. Nia Jax is back in WWE. Who asked for it? Nobody, but she's back anyway. Nia Jax is back in WWE. She entered the Women's Royal Rumble match at number 30, the only WWE star to ever compete in both the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches in one night at the 2019 event, returned, although not for long. Now, she made a dramatic entrance, which was botched. Her music just played and she came out. There was no countdown, no klaxon, no nothing. She just came out, but she was eliminated relatively quickly after suffering a vicious riptide from the eventual winner, Rhea Ripley. Now, again, whether this is a full-time return, whether this is a one-off, we don't know. But indeed, Nia Jax is back inside of a WWE ring. Now, one person we thought was going to be competing in the men's rumble last night was Rey Mysterio, but he wasn't there. Instead, we had this angle where Dominic Mysterio came out with his father's mask, implying that Rey Mysterio had been attacked backstage. Well, during the rumble, Rey Mysterio's entrance played for him to enter at the entrance of number 17 entrant, rather. Now, Mysterio never entered the arena, leaving fans scratching their heads over the whereabouts of the legendary luchador. Dominic Mysterio then entered the rumble at the number 18 spot. Dominic was wearing Rey Mysterio's mask, implying he had attacked his father backstage and stolen his headwear. Well, on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that Mysterio missed the match due to an injury, saying, quote, "So the Rey Mysterio thing, Rey Mysterio was injured last night, Friday in Laredo, at the SmackDown taping in his match with Karrion Kross. He was going to be in the Rumble, that spot was changed. I think they actually were supposed to do some teases with Rey Mysterio and Dominic to set up a WrestleMania match, but obviously they couldn't do it because Rey was injured." Now, the severity of Rey Mysterio's injury is currently unknown, but as we get closer to WrestleMania season and they've laid the foundation and the work for this big Mysterio versus Mysterio match for a while, it would be a massive shame to see it get cancelled due to an injury. So we'll have to wait and see again the severity of the injury. Pat McAfee is back, and it's not a moment too soon. WWE color commentator Pat McAfee made his return last night during the 36th Royal Rumble. He joined last night's commentary team, which featured Corey Graves and Michael Cole. Now, McAfee, who works on SmackDown, has been gone since September last year after he signed a deal with ESPN to serve as an analyst for College Game Day. McAfee was hired by WWE in April 2021 to be a commentator on SmackDown. He signed a multi-year extension with the company back in July of last year. Before working as a commentator for SmackDown, he made several appearances in NXT as a wrestler, manager, panelist. His last match was, I think did he wrestle at SummerSlam? I think he wrestled Happy Corbin, did he not? He definitely wrestled at WrestleMania last year as well. We don't know if this is him being back now for good until the College Game Day stuff picks up again. We don't know, but it wasn't a moment too soon. McAfee he is a national treasure. Some of the things he was saying on commentary definitely weren't PG. And clearly he hasn't been watching a lot of the product since he left, because some of the people he didn't even know who they were. But it doesn't matter. McAfee's Pat McAfee, and it was awesome to see him back. Asuka is also back, and she's now resurrected the Kana character she previously used in Japan. After teasing on social media, Asuka seems to have finally brought her previous wrestling persona to her WWE version of the character. After many posts featuring an apparent throwback to her previous wrestling persona, Kana, last night her transformation appeared complete. With a full face of makeup, the more dastardly Asuka certainly was intent on violence as she attempted to take out many women in the Rumble as possible. She didn't win it. She was in the final three, and actually she did factor into the finish as she sprayed the blue mist at Liv Morgan, blinding her, but she was eliminated by Rhea Ripley, who then eliminated Morgan to win the match and to win the Royal Rumble match rather, and book her ticket to WrestleMania. But great to see this version of Asuka. I'm all in to see it happen going forward. I don't know if this is going to be every single week on Raw or just like a special thing akin to the demon version of Finn Balor, but I hope it's a regular thing. Asuka needs to have a bit of a change up, something different, and this is awesome. It was a fantastic look. Speaking of returns, Doudrop is back. Scratch that. Piper Niven is actually back, yes. In last night's Women's Royal Rumble, there were numerous surprise returns, including one with a very big name change, returning to her former character iteration. Doudrop is no more, as upon making her surprise entry into the Royal Rumble, she returned as Piper Niven. Of course, Piper Niven was previously used as a ring name in NXT UK, although she saw her name change to Doudrop on the main roster under the Vince McMahon regime. This is the first time we've seen her in quite a while, but it's great to see Piper Niven back in that name because Doudrop was one of the worst names ever. Chelsea Green is also back in WWE, inside of a WWE ring. She's been signed to WWE for actually quite a while. She's been signed to a contract for a long time, but she made her return to WWE to join the entrance of the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match. Although her return was quite short, she was actually a record breaker. What some could refer to as the Royal Rumble 2023 entry for Chelsea Green as embarrassingly short. Her Royal Rumble attempt was over before it really began. She was eliminated within seconds by the number one entrant and eventual winner, Rhea Ripley. However, she has, as I mentioned, been signed to WWE for quite a while, a few months now, and reportedly it was put out there by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select that she's going to be playing this sort of larger-than-life Karen kind of character, and you could kind of see that when she came out complaining that she was number 20, so I'm sure that her being eliminated in about 5 seconds is going to be the basis of her complaints and Karen-esque character moving forward. Bray Wyatt made his in-ring return last night at the Royal Rumble in the pitch black match against LA Knight, dividing fans as Bray Wyatt always does on social media. We did a video discussing it with some screen grabs, be sure to check that out. As I mentioned, he faced LA Knight in the Mountain Dew pitch black match, which was a street fight with glow lighting. Wyatt was victorious, and in the aftermath, Uncle Howdy jumped off a platform and onto Knight as an explosion went off, even though he clearly missed LA Knight. Now, speaking at the Royal Rumble press conference, Wyatt discussed the general creativity in wrestling happening during the current era, saying, quote, "There are some people that like new concept and people who take risk and things, and then there are people who just don't because they don't. It's a sport to some, it's a show to others. The beautiful thing about wrestling and this industry is that there is something for everyone. I've always prided myself on the fact that I'm willing to take risks and do things that no one else has ever done. In my opinion, if you're not willing to do that, then what are you doing here? It's about leaving a legacy for me, and I do pretty much anything, especially if no one has ever done it before, because I know people will notice and it's fun for me." We also spoke about the possible storyline with Alexa Bliss. Of course, Alexa Bliss lost to Bianca Belair at the Royal Rumble last night, and afterwards she was greeted with a video package showing highlights of her time with Bray Wyatt. Uncle Howdy, of course, has been circling Alexa Bliss, leading some to think that it's going to have a situation where Wyatt and Bliss are reunited in the future. Now, at the Royal Rumble press conference, Wyatt talked about his relationship with Bliss and what will come from this storyline. He said, quote, "I think me and Alexa were just kind of connected forever, no matter what. It's just kind of the way it's gone. And where it leads, I don't know. No one knows, but I feel like there will be something at some point. It will be memorable, I'm sure of that." So Bray Wyatt saying he's not even sure. I'm sure he actually does know what's going to happen, but certainly he's right. Indeed, when it does happen, it's going to be very memorable. Poor Kofi Kingston finally, because for the second year in a row, he botched his big Royal Rumble spot. At last night's Royal Rumble, of course, there was a lot of shocking spots and even a failed spot from Kofi Kingston. Of course, in years past, Kingston has had some mind-boggling moments in the Royal Rumble, avoiding elimination by slim margins. However, last year, he made news for a different reason entirely. While some may have referred to the spot as a botch, this year, the fail was even more scary than funny. In a spot that appeared to be a setup to see Kingston faux eliminated, expected and then make it through by landing on a chair. The landing on the chair didn't land smoothly. Instead, Kofi Kingston's body flew beyond the chair and it appeared to collide with the commentary table in an unpleasant way. Now, tweeting after the Rumble, Kofi seemed to comment on the second failed Rumble spot in a row, writing, quote, "Welp, the universe has spoken, RIP, hashtag Royal Rumble." Again, I'm not sure what the spot was meant to be. I think he was meant to like land again on the chair and then maybe bounce his way back in. He's done that in the past, but he just crashed into the table and it was gnarly. It did not look good. I mean, they tried to play up on commentary that he might not have been eliminated because his foot didn't touch the floor. You can see it right there, but he was done. He was done, and it didn't look good. So that's a shame, I guess, on for next year for Kofi Kingston. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts on last night's Royal Rumble and today's WWE news stories in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.